Are you winning, son?
Dad, I just can't. I can't seem to win in this new meta. It's so hard. I don't know how to make a deck, and none of these are working for me. I just can't seem to win in this new meta, Dad.
Well, by using Dekkster's decks, I just hit Dad Legend, so I recommend you check it out.
All right, Dad, thanks. I'll check them out. So mini set just comes out today. Maybe it's already out, depending on when you watch this video, but I'm gonna give you some cool decks that should be enjoyable on the first day. Now, nobody knows if these are gonna be meta, if these are gonna suck, if these are gonna be good, because there is no meta. No one's played with the cards yet, so we don't really know. But this does seem to be a cool mini set. I'm looking forward to it. You know what? This mini set's actually gonna be awesome. It's gonna be fantastic, maybe the best of all time. But let's go ahead and jump into the first deck here. This is gonna be a hunter deck. This is gonna be a big hunter, big beast. Maybe you're familiar with the deck. It's already very popular. I assume this deck is gonna be pretty dang good. Probably one of the best that I'm gonna go over. The main new addition here is Nathanos, Defense Attorney Nathan. 6 mana, 5/4 with Battlecry. Discover a friendly Death Rattle minion that died this game. Trigger and gain its Death Rattle. It's gonna discover a card to put in your hand. It's gonna trigger that Death Rattle, and it's gonna gain the Death Rattle. So it's almost kind of activating the Death Rattle twice, plus giving you a card in your hand. Now, there are probably some meme ways to go about this with like Humongous Owl, but I wanted to put maybe a better deck up here to start. We're also running Sin Runners here, which is essentially Deadly Shot on a stick. No one uses this card. It's already in the game. Maybe you didn't realize that, but Sin Runner dies, kills a big thing, and then you got Nathan to pull another Sin Runner in your hand. We also have Sylvanas, of course, just a fantastic new addition here. I think this is one of the best cards of the mini set. Sylvanas, probably you're going to be seeing a lot of this in most decks, I would assume. As far as other new cards, I don't really think, unless I'm missing one, I don't think there are any new ones. We do have the Tarantula here, the imported Tarantula. Really good for killing these tall targets. Maybe you're seeing a lot of like a priest with big strong boys and you want to kill them, you want to destroy them. That's what Tarantula is for. Let's move on to the next deck. Now this is a Demon Hunter deck, and if you guys didn't know, Demon Hunter got some really busted looking cards. One of the most busted being Prosecutor Melantrix. There we go. Look at this, 4 mana, 2/6 Battlecry. Your opponent can only play their left and rightmost cards on the next turn. This really limits your opponent. It constricts their possibilities, and they don't really maybe get to do what they want to do. It's almost frustrating. It's going to be very frustrating. But this aggro Demon Hunter deck was very strong. Its main issue was sometimes if you didn't draw Magnifying Glaive, you wouldn't be able to cycle through all your cheap cards. Sometimes it even ran the 4 mana legendary card. But now they decided to print this card called Sightless Magistrate. Why did they print this? I don't know, but it seems like a really good card. 4 mana, 5/4, decent stats. With the Battlecry, both players draw until they have 5 cards. Now, you're thinking, why do I want to give my opponent card draw? Well, maybe your opponent's not playing an aggro deck. Maybe they're playing mid-range or control, and maybe they draw 1 card, or maybe they draw 2, but you're going to draw 5 cards with this. Or maybe you're going to draw 4. Maybe you're going to draw 3. So not only are you drawing cards, but you're also putting a threat on the board. And often your opponent is just actually going to draw nothing, right? Maybe they have 8 cards in their hand already. So this combined with the glaive is kind of insane. In theory, I feel like this deck is just never going to run out of gas. You're going to hit fatigue before you run out of cards in your hand. It's just a lot of threats, a lot of 1-drops here, including Beaming Sidekick, which is an old card, but a new addition to this deck because we just want to be able to dump things. We don't want like heroic strikes or anything like that. So yeah, you might be seeing a lot of this, or maybe it'll suck, who knows, but it looks good to me. Oh, and this deck is by Bandit Keith, if you didn't know. I covered previous versions on my YouTube if you want to check that out. Also, before we move on, I want to thank the sponsors of this video. Now, this video is sponsored by Firestone, which is a very powerful new deck tracker for Hearthstone. I definitely recommend you guys check this out. It has so much more versatility than other ones. You can keep track of your opponent's cards. For example, they have 2 cards generated by Jackpot here. We can also see that this is a card that was generated by Tooth of Nefarian, and this card was from Queen Ashara. We have the multi-caster tracker here. It says we just casted a Frost, but after we cast this Nature spell, it's going to tell us that we've also casted Frost and Nature, meaning when we play that, it's going to draw 2 cards. Makes hand management a lot better, and I just think it looks beautiful. Keeps track of all your decks, keeps track of all your stats. There's also battlegrounds information, mercenaries, duels, arena. I love the replays that are built into this thing. We have collection here where you can see how many packs you've opened in total. I have opened 5,869. Anyway, thanks to Firestone for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check it out. Probably the best deck tracker out there. And let's jump back into the content. Thank you again so much to Firestone for sponsoring this video. Best deck tracker. Best deck tracker. Anyways, let's get into the content. So next up, we have a rogue deck that is running the Scribbling Sternographer. 6 mana, 4/4 rush, costs 1 less for each card you've played this turn. Now, this we're using in place of Knowles here, and maybe this isn't going to be the best rogue deck. Tried to get a secret rogue to work, but it didn't seem to look too good. This list was made by Jay Alexander. He has stuff like Silverleaf Poison. Good God, Poison. Silverleaf Poison in here, where you give your weapon after hero attacks draw a card, which means you're gonna be able to draw a lot, dump a lot, make your Sternographer cheap, and also make your Frostwolf Warmaster cheap. But on top of it all, the Synthstone Graveyard, you get to maybe pop off, make a big stealthed ghost. That is frustrating for your opponent to deal with because they have no way to deal with it unless they're running spiders that have poison on them. But yeah, we also have Edwin here for a nice little pop-off. We got Draka here for a big dagger. Really cool looking rogue list. If you do like the miracle sort of feeling thing, this might be fun. Is it going to be the best rogue deck? Probably not. But if you want to mess around with the new cards, with the Sternographer, is that actually the only new card in here? Technically, yeah, but we also have the Warmaster here, which kind of, synergizes with it. So it should be fun, fantastic, maybe not. Oh my gosh, this deck might actually be bad. This might be doo-doo, this might be terrible, but I'm gonna play it, and I think I'm gonna have a good time. So, I think Paladin got one of the best cards in Order of the Court, where you reorder your deck from highest cost to lowest cost. That means you're gonna be able to consistently draw Carriel, but also Frontlines. So I've restructured Big Paladin to kind of drop the 10 cost cards, which were very good. Stoneborn General or whatever it's called. Sarah gone. Neptulon gone. Those were all great, sure. But if we restructure with Order of the Court, then we get to play Frontlines because we're going to draw Frontlines. It's 9 mana. Then we get to pull all of our big boys. Then we're also going to get Carriel because all the big boys are going to be out of our deck. And then we just have a ton of great removal, City Tax, Equality, Consecration. I even threw Carriel Roman here to, discount some of our stuff, but mostly because she's just a great early threat that you can throw out. We have Lightbringer's Hammer and Protect the Innocent to get a nice, 5 mana 10/10 with taunts. Pretty good. And I also threw in Moargs in here because I found myself wanting health. This deck often ends up becoming some sort of fatigue deck. If your opponent is able to clear your board, you're going to just heal a lot, stay alive with Carriel. Yeah, one of the most exciting deck archetypes for me right now. I really like this, and no one else is playing it because I guess it's just not great. But it's not terrible, but it might be terrible. Now, I did mess around with like secret mages, but I felt like nothing just looked good enough. Even with the new cards, I don't think it's going to be viable. I also messed around with a secret rogue deck with Halakus and the new secret, but I just don't think it's good enough. I really wish it was. I wish they were good enough. I hope this new mini set is very, very impactful and it shakes up the meta quite a bit because, the metas get stale sometimes. So hopefully you see a new fun archetype rise to glory that is not frustrating and everyone hates, or maybe some new meme deck potential comes out there. That's what I'm going to be messing around with. Now, these 4 decks I covered, I think, are a little bit less meme than what I'm personally going to be messing with, but I didn't want to lead you guys astray and put absolutely awful decks, even though maybe I did that anyway. But I hope these decks are decent. Of course, don't craft anything. The meta, there's no meta. Everything's going to be a little bit shook, so be careful crafting anything, especially like niche legendaries or epics. If you buy the mini set, you get them all for just a little bit of gold. It's a lot of gold, or runestones, but whatever. Hope you guys enjoy. Good luck on ladder and stay hydrated.